Hello and welcome to this Canopy training session. I'm going to go ahead and log straight in. So I've got the URL for my relevant Canopy session just here. You can sign in with your username credentials that you've been given, or you can sign in with Google if you've been assigned to the Google account. So I'm just going to go ahead and sign in with Google. Once you're signed in, you may very well find yourself with this blank screen. At this point, what we need to do is select the organization, which is found in the top left-hand corner. So we select organization. You may not have quite as many locations and organizations as you can see here. Hopefully you should have just the one or maybe a couple. If you scroll down to where you need, and for this we'll pick our example organization. Once you've picked the example organization, it should also give you a choice if you have multiple venues within that organization on the second drop down here. At this moment it's taken example as the one that we're going to look at. So we'll go straight in and have a look at the F&B side of things. So we're looking at food and beverage. If we just hover over the menu icon on the left hand side here, we can see that we have several different choices within the food and beverage location to select from. I will stress at this point that it is very, very important that when you hover over it and get your menu bar, that you move straight across to the right rather than just doing a diagonal down. I've been caught out a few times before now by moving diagonally down to global items and ending up in the merch global items rather than the F&B global items. So hover over the F&B, that will bring you up with this menu. Select the item that you wish. So to start with, we'll have a quick look at orders. So rather than the reporting solution that we have in place with Data Now and VenueNext, which obviously you can look at all orders and all sales and all of those different pieces of information and data sets to do with the orders that have been. In Canopy, you can actually manipulate the orders and you can have actions upon them or search for them to identify specifics with regards to that order. So you can search. This will show you all orders for all revenue centers within a location. You can search and narrow down your search by email. So that's the email of the person who placed the order, or potentially the email of the actual device that placed the order. You can also look by name if the name has appeared on there. So if the customer has put their name into the order, or obviously the last 4 digits of their credit card, or the order number itself. As it states here, if you are looking for the order number, if you just add a hash to your search at the very front, it will denote it as being an order number rather than the last 4 digits of a card. We'll stress at this point that it is really, really important to apply a date range to any searches that you do. As you can imagine, the data set is rather large, depending on the size of your venue and depending on how many days of trading you do per week or per month or per year even. The data set can be extremely large. So if you can have a date range that you can specify, all the better. The smaller the date range, the quicker the response and the return on your search. So I would always try to do kind of a day either side of whatever date it is that you're searching for if you're looking for a specific date, just so that you capture any kind of nuances with dates and times and time zones and things like that. Having a look at this, excuse me, you can also filter by order state. So if you know that you're looking for a particular order that's not necessarily completed but is in tabs or is in processing, you can find that using the order states filter, and you can filter by tabbed, for instance. In this case, we'll just search by tabbed, and that should bring us back all the tabbed orders that are in the system at the moment. So if I clear that and we go back to our main search, I can search for any of my orders. So if I'll search for Greg, in this case, I know that it's only happened a few days ago, so there we are. We can see 2 test orders there. What we can do is you can see that each time I hover over them, there appears a little black box around the outside of the order. Once you've got the order that you want to look at highlighted, if you click on it, it will bring up a small snapshot of that order and the details of that order. If you want to look at it in more detail and you want to act or action anything on that order, you do need to go into the full details screen. Any of the times that you see these bright orange text is usually a URL that you can go to, or a deeper link that you can go through to. So what I suggest is, if you want to look at this order in more detail, you either click on the details here or click on the details here. Either or will take you into the same order. What I tend to do is I tend to right click and open it in a new tab. Just makes it a little bit quicker once you come back and once you've completed doing your task. So here I can see all the general details at the very top there of my order 2543 by me, Greg Test. My email address is in there. Obviously the location, whether it was a pickup or not, if there was a seat attached to it, if it had been an in-seat delivery, and all the rest of the details as to what was going on with this order. You can then see the line items invoiced. So you can see the Greg burger that I bought that day for $12, and I put a $1.80 tip on there. You can also see the order state history. So you can see what the order flow was, that it was received, it was ready, and then it was completed. And that I changed that within Expedite. So each time the order state changes, it will tell you whereabouts the order state was changed, whether it was done in Expedite or on a pause, or whether it was done even here in Canopy. As you can see here, you can change the state of an order. So changing the state of an order is very, very simple to do. You can't change it backwards, so you can only change an order state to move it forward in the flow sequence. So in this case, because this item is completed, I can't put it back to being received or in ready. If you do want to change or update the status of any of the orders, it's very simple. You select which of the states you want to move the order to, and then you can apply a reason for that change, which will be shown in the notes here on the right hand side. Once you've selected your reason, once you've selected your new state and you've given your reason for change, click on update, and that will give you the new state, and it'll give you a nice little green bar across the top that will say success, as long as it has been successful for you. There's a payment transaction history, which unfortunately, because this was a test location, it's not showing that in here, but I can show you that quite quickly with a live environment in a few moments. Mutation history denotes anything that's changed within that order. So if you were to do a refund or anything like that, it would show you that as a change to the order. And then you have some very specific UUID information with regards to the order. So this is very unique identification numbers that are used in the back of house, not really used front of house. There is also an opportunity to refund from here. On this particular order I can't refund, so let me find an order that I can refund for you and we'll have a look at that. So here we are, we can see that this order is available for refund. So in this case, the refund, I can press start refund, and once I press start refund, it will shoot me back up to the top of the line items invoice, and it gives me an option. It gives me an option to refund the entire order, which if I click on that, it will click the entire order and allow me to refund everything. Or if I wish to, I can just refund parts of that order. Now obviously in this case, it's not a great example because I've just got a truffle burger there, and the other two items are zero priced. But if these were priced at $1.50 or $2 or whatever, I could choose to select just the cheese and refund that. Same realms as if you had more than just a burger on the order. If you had a burger and some fries and maybe some drinks or milkshakes or something like that, you could refund the entire order or just part of the order. Once you've selected the item to refund, you simply press issue refund, and that will successfully refund the item, and it will turn the items to red and show that they're cancelled in the order status. And it's as simple as that to complete a refund. Okay, we'll move on. So that's our orders. We've looked at the orders, we've looked at searching for an order, defining the order state. The date range is dead simple to do. You literally just type in the date that you want, You can click on the year if you wish to change the year, any of the months, or any of those parameters. You can also choose the date and then also the time. So wherever you are, you can choose whatever date you wish to search for. Okay. So we're going to have a quick look at the locations. So locations within the system, if you have a venue, what you will have within your venue is you will have multiple what we call revenue centers. These are locations. Revenue centers are sales locations. So if you have a hot dog stand, that would be a revenue center, a location. If you have, as in this case, you have a Shake Shack or a Farm Burger or any of these physical outlets that sell products, you may call them outlets, you may call them profit centers, revenue centers, almost any combination of these things. Within our system, we call them revenue centers or locations. Now, each revenue center, each location, has the availability to have multiple menus assigned to it and multiple service types. So you can create your express pickup service type, your POS service type, your kiosk, whatever it might be, and you can have a menu specific to each of those, a different menu so that you can amend prices and you can amend products within those menus specifically. You have here the availability. So you can switch the availability on and off and your visibility on and off. If I highlight that, it will bring up the availability and visibility on the right hand side here. So what you can do with the express pickup is you can just say, well, actually at the moment it's not available for all orders. We're going to switch it off for new orders, and I click update on that, and what that will do is it will render that particular outlet unable to accept new orders. I'll push it back so that we can see it. If I turn the visibility to off, it will actually remove it from being visible on the screens as well. So if you have something like a kiosk or if you have mobile ordering, if you don't want the outlet to be visible, if you don't want the revenue center to actually be visible if it's not serving at the moment, you would just switch the visibility from on to off. If you simply switch the availability from on for all orders or off for all orders, all that will do is it will grey out the outlet on the website. It'll still allow the customers to go in and view the menu, but it will just not allow any sales to go through that location. So they won't be able to add any of the items to their basket or purchase any of the items. Okay, so what we have in here is if we click on the menu, so we'll just select that menu there and open that in a new tab again, just so that we've got it separately to your other screen. And what you can do in here is you can view all your products that are currently available in that particular menu at that location. So in that revenue center, for that menu, we're looking at the express pickup menu in the Shake Shack section 103. And what we can see here is we can see all of our products and our categories all displayed here so that we can amend them, we can move them around a bit if we want to, and we can make any specific changes to that menu. So if I wanted my GJ Shake that I have here, if I wanted to change that instead of being $8, which it currently is across the board across my entire location, if I wanted to change that and say actually I want to make that $10, if I want to make that $10, I can just change that to a 10. Once I've done that, if I update the menu item, that'll update my screen and it will confirm that I've made the updates with the big success bar at the top here in green. And if I scroll down, you can now see that GJ Shake is now at $10. We can also in here put on our add-on tax or our tax inclusive. Once you do it for one of the RVCs, it copies it across the board, so you can say, well, actually tax is inclusive for this, and that will make the tax inclusive in the price, so the customer will see the $10 and they will see a breakdown if they wish to, but it's contained within that $10. Add-on tax would be obviously if the tax was added on to the price that you're quoting here, so the $10 plus tax. The location settings with regards to inventory is actually now controlled from a global location, so I'll go through those in a few moments, but you'll be able to see what that does and how that does it. But the big thing within here that we can actually adjust is the availability within this location. So if I was to say, well, actually my GJ shake is no longer available to be purchased at the Shake Shack section 103, I can change that from here and I can make it unavailable. Low on inventory is setting it to effectively unavailable, and there is an unavailable tab in there as well. If I explain the differences between these, low on inventory is the setting that I would always suggest and implore you to use, purely and simply because what low on inventory does is it makes the item unavailable for sale, and no further orders will come in at that point for that particular item. However, it won't affect it in any other way, so it'll make it unavailable for sale. Customers will still be able to see it, they just won't be able to order it. If you switch it to unavailable, what that will do is it will not only stop any new sales coming in, but it will actually cancel any sales that are already currently in the system and have not yet been completed. So I would urge you not to ever use unavailable whilst you are trading. If you do wish to make an item unavailable so that it is not visible and not available on that particular revenue center, please do that outside of trading hours, and only do that if you're not going to use it at all again. So if it's a discontinued item, for instance, something that you're not going to get in again, I would then use unavailable. But for all other stock control purposes and purposes of not selling an item currently, I would just stick to using the low on inventory, because that will do the job that you need. Okay, you can with these you can sort, so you can sort the item order. On the far right hand side here you can see that there's a sort column, so you can drag and drop the items and you can sort them to whatever order you wish for them to appear within the menu screens. So this is for things like kiosk and for the web ordering side of things. That will have the biggest impact on those two areas. Obviously, once you've made a change on anything, don't forget to always update your menu items. That will make sure that all the updates are saved and then pushed through to the relevant location for their sale. Okay, so that's a brief look at our locations and our menus. If we go into global items, I can show you where and how to set up actual items and where the global settings are. So once in your food and beverage global items page, the quickest way of showing you this is to just scroll down all the way down to the very bottom, which will be where you can see this create items link. So again, if I open the link in a new tab, I can go to that tab and show you how to create a new item. So very simple, very intuitive. The name, which is obviously required, so you would need to put a name for your product. So I'll call this one GJ soda. There we go. And we'll make my GJ soda $5. So this is the main price that it'll appear on across the board. So as you add it to new menus, it'll appear at this price. It's the global price. Can be changed later, and it obviously can be changed between menus, but this is the initial price that you'll set it to. The SKU is very important. So the SKU is a unique identifier in the system, so it must be unique. So in the initial instance, when you're setting up your products and prices, it's very useful to have a spreadsheet that has all your SKUs on it. Now it varies dramatically between client as to what the client will use for their SKUs. They may already have a SKU, so you may already see that the numbers are brought from other systems, so from their inventory system or from their purchasing systems. They may already have SKUs for all their items. If they don't have SKUs for all their items, then what you can do is you can use our suggested formatting, shall we say, for SKUs, or you can use your own. The main thing that has to be is that it needs to be unique to that product. I would always suggest that you try to move your SKUs and make your SKUs so that they are specific and that you can group them easily. So I would always tend to try and use multiple numbers if you're just using numerics, or alphanumerics if you choose to. So in this case I've used both in the past, and it's completely up to yourselves on how you use that. There is a page in our support pages which shows you the the suggested skew methodology. And it very much is based on the idea of categories, so saying that actually drinks start with a 1, food starts with a 2, and they start with sort of 1000s, 2000s, and then within those they are then broken down further into subcategories. So food, you could have hot food or cold food, you could have pre-packaged retail goods, all starting with different numbers. It just means then that when you're sorting through and you're trying to look and view different groups of products within the system, it's a very quick and simple way of finding those items that are related within a group. So in this case, this is a soda, so it's a cold drink, so I may very well just say, well actually I'm just going to call it drink because I just want to put the 3 letters at the front. So this is my soda, this is going to be my drink 1 because I've not got any other drinks and I know that. The special type is not used, so just bypass that one. The location which is required, you need to select a location for where this particular item is going to live. So in this case, I'm going to put it into Shake Shack 103. And once you've selected your location, you can then select which menu you wish for it to be appearing on. You can just select one if you want, if there's multiples available. In this case, there's 3 available, as you can see. So you can just select the 1, or you can select all 3. It is completely up to you. But you can change all of these at a later time. So you can add this item to multiple locations in a few moments, and I will show you how to do that. But initially, you just need the 1 location to set it up to and 1 menu mapping. In the case of new locations that we're setting up currently, what we tend to do is we tend to have a location that we create called items, and that will have every item that we've created assigned to it. We will then assign those items to their relevant revenue centers after we've done that. It just means that all items are in one place and we can move them all from there to their relevant locations. So I'll just submit that and it'll give me a successfully created bar at the top. It'll clear out all the data that I've just put in, and that's me ready to create another new item if I wish to. At this point, I'm not going to create another item. I'm going to go back to my previous screen of my products. So I'm very quickly going to just update my product list just to make sure that my GJ drink or my GJ soda is in there. So I can now search in here. So I can put however many pages, number of items per page I want. So I can change that up to 500 if I need to. I'm quite happy with 25. And then I can do a search. So the search bar is very useful again, and it will bring back anything that you have that has the letters or numbers that you put in there. So if I type in DRK and press enter, I know that my SKU started with DRK001. Now, if I wanted to, I can just type in soda and it will bring up any item that has soda either in its name or in its SKU. So you can see here there's a soda test, there's a GJ soda, there's all sorts of different sodas in there. So if I just wanted GJ, for instance, I can just type in GJ and it'll give me my GJ burger, my GJ soda and my GJ shake. Now, as I just mentioned a few minutes ago, the item is actually currently only set up to be in one location. If I want it to be in multiple locations, what I need to do is just hit the link that is directly on the display name itself. So you can see that there's a hyperlink there. If I open that in a new window, we'll see that that opens up for us. This will give you a list of the locations and location menus available for this product to be assigned to in this particular organization. As you can see here, there's nothing in the Shake Shack, and that's because I've already assigned them to all 3 of the menus within the Shake Shack revenue center. But I can add it to any of these other locations and any of these other menus that I wish to. So if I wanted to assign it to kiosk test, I can set it there. If I wanted to set it to the grab and go concessions, I can just tick that. Once I've ticked the menus that I wish it to be available for, I hit submit and that'll make it available in those menus. And we can then look at that in the locations and location menus if we need to. Again, big success bar at the top will tell us that we've actually been successful in doing that, and that product has now been added to those menus. So to take you through the rest of the product screen, the global items product screen, what we have here on the left hand side, we have the image. So here we can add an image. If we click on the image, it'll give us the download and upload page. We tend to just use the top two. The third one's not really used anymore. So the top two is where you would put in your image files. So you choose a file. You can choose a file from your own location or wherever you happen to have those files saved to. So you can choose those files, and then once you've done that, you just upload files, and that will push the files up onto the system. Once you've got your picture, that will appear on any of the menus that are customer facing. So things like your web and your kiosk, that's where those pictures will appear. Again, if you need any further assistance on pictures or images or anything like that, we have support pages available, and there are specifics for the requirements for the sizes and quality of your pictures. So with our GJ Soda, I can add an extra line to the actual GJ Soda, so I can have the GJ Soda as the name of the item, but then if I wanted to, I could have a subheading underneath that, and this is where you get that. So I click on the little pencil, and I can see the display name there is GJ Soda. I can change that if I wish, and I can put in what's called a display description. The display description is what will go just underneath the GJ Soda, so I can put in here, select from a variety of flavors, and we'll update that. So what that'll do is, again, on any screen that's visible to a that's customer facing, should I say, so either on the web view or the kiosk view, it'll give that little extra bit of information that we put in there just underneath the main title of the item. So moving along, you can see that the price is there, and we can change that if we wish to, but that price ideally would be changed in a menu location rather than at the global level. So always, if you're changing your prices, try and change them at the menu level so that you've got all your menus are if you are changing the price, by menu, change it at the location level. The 21 plus, your beer stein, if you click on it, it will give you a beer stein. What this will do is it will enable the item to be identified as an alcoholic beverage, and will then apply a script to that item showing the customer that they need to be over the age of, in this case, 21, but the messages themselves can actually be adapted to whatever you want the message to read. But in general, what you will find on here is you will find that it just says something along the lines of please be aware that you need to be over at the age of 21, and you must provide ID at point of collection if it's required. So obviously, dependent on what state you're in or what country you're in, this may change, the age may change, and the requirements may change, obviously, but this will denote that it's alcoholic beverage, and you can have those settings set, as I say, in a different location, which we can show you later. So that's our beer stein. Discountable is exactly what it sounds like. If you tick that, the item is available to be discounted by a promotional offer. So if it's not ticked as discountable, then the item will not be discounted. So if you do set up a promotion, 50% off the order or whatever it might be, if you do not have this ticked, the item specifically will not be discounted. So that promotional offer will not appear on there. Special type, same as we were discussing when we created the item, it's no longer used. The tax rate, if you have differing tax rates per item, then this is where you would actually apply that tax rate on an item by item, individual item basis. If you do have different tax rates for different items within your business for sale, then you will need to actually add the tax rate in on a line item basis. If your tax rate is the same across the board, then you can do that globally at the revenue center end, at the organization level, and that will apply the tax rate across the board. But if they differ between one product and another, then you will need to do every single product and add each product within its tax rate. So your inventory availability, this is where you would set the global inventory for an item. So you can select the same as we had at the menu level. So if, for instance, you've run out of an item across the board, across your entire organization, your entire venue no longer has an item, you can quickly come in and set that item to unavailable. in the global side of things, rather than having to go into every single menu. So you can set it globally as low on inventory, and that will have the same effect. It will just make it unavailable for sale in all of the locations. You can use inventory. So inventory location settings is where you would do the location inventory levels. So here you can see the 3 locations that I've set my item to be available at are all available for me to set up inventories. So you come to this one location, one central location, where you can set the inventory at a location level, so at a revenue center level. So if I had, I don't know, 3 cases of Coca-Cola, and I wanted to put one of those cases in each of the revenue centers that I have, I could put a case in each of these. So I would put 24 in there, 24 in there, 24 in there. If I wish to use the inventory system, as this will do, if I put 24 in there, I need a minimum threshold. Now what happens is, with the way that the inventory works, is that whenever the whenever the inventory number on this side matches the minimum threshold number, the item will go into low on inventory automatically. So you don't need to go into the system and put that into low inventory, it will do it automatically. So if you just had 24 cases of the particular item, 24 individuals of that particular item in stock, you would put your 24 in here. If you wanted a small buffer, you could probably put 2 or 3 as the minimum threshold. A lot of companies do that just in case. A lot of other companies just put 0 in as their threshold because they want to sell out completely. They want to sell all 24 of those cans before it goes to low on inventory on the system. If you do want a buffer, you just put whatever buffer you want, put 2 in, and as I said before, the items as they sell within that particular Shake Shack location, that inventory number will go down as the sales happen, and when that number matches this number, it will automatically flag it and push it to low on inventory and will no longer be available for sale and for ordering on the media that you're particularly using. So whether that's on a POS, on a kiosk, on ordering web, wherever it might be, it won't be available for order. Obviously, as always, once you've set this up, just make sure that you click update and that'll set the item inventory up for that particular location. You don't have to use it, but obviously it's a very handy tool to use. The only thing is that obviously it needs some input. If you bring a case in, so if your inventory goes down to 2 and you bring another case in, you would need to come back in here and add the extra items back in. So at that time it would probably say 2, so you need to push it back up to 26 or however many you've got in your location, so that that item becomes available again. Once you've changed your inventory, it'll go back to being available rather than low on inventory automatically. You can do a max item count and a minimum item count within the baskets for this particular item. So the minimum item count I don't think is used very much. The maximum count I have seen used, obviously when you have limited items, limited stock items, and you want to limit it to 1 or 2 per purchase or per customer, you can put the max item count in here and that will do exactly that. So what that will do is it will stop the customer from putting more than whatever number you put in here into their basket and purchasing them. Okay, so that's our inventory. The category section here on the next bit along is very, very important. So without a category, our items can't be seen. So they need to belong to a category. They need to belong to both a display category and a reporting category, so that they can actually be seen and be reported upon once they sell. Without a category, they won't appear on the system. They won't appear on the visible kiosk or web portal or POS, wherever. So to add a category, again, you just right click on the hyperlink there, get it open in a new window, and this will take you through into the item categorizations. You can reach this these pages a different way. You can go directly into the display categories section or the reporting category section, and it's up to you which way around you do it. So for this particular item, I can see that it had no, so you can see here that it had no settings because it said none. but what you can do is you can change that. So your reporting categories here at the top, you would put in the item to the relevant reporting category as you would like to see it reported upon in your systems. So I'm hoping that you would know what your systems are needing from a point of view of reporting categories, but in general we set up some generic ones in there. So I've got my own GJ so that I can report on any items in the GJ settings, and that's my GJ. If there are more than the kind of 9 categories available there, you can just click on the see more and that will drop down the rest of the actual categories that are available to be displayed. So in this case, for display category, I can see that there's some Greg stuff there, or I could put it into a drinks location, or there's a drinks farm burger, there's a drinks Shake Shack, so I can put it into the drinks Shake Shack because that's where it's going to be. So again, as always with these pages, before you maneuver off a page, just check and make sure that there's an update item category or a submit button or something like that to save your changes for that particular item. Here we are, we have a success, all green, we're all good to go. So that has now been saved. So I'll close out of that. If I refresh this page now, it'll get rid of my GJ, but I can just plug that back in. And we should be able to see that my item has now been added to GJ and added to drinks. So we have our drinks in there. The rest of these are not really used, to be honest. So the affiliation groups, the barcodes, and the combo items we're no longer using. So these are the main areas that you would need to know and need to be using on a day-to-day basis. If you did want to have a look, so if you were wanting to be in our categories, so let me just go back to display categories. I'll go into the display categories through the link on the left. So these are all our display categories. It's a slightly different looking screen. You can get to this screen the other way. So if I show you the other way to get to that screen, if I go back to my GJ items and I go back to my category screen here, if the category, the reporting category or the display category that you want isn't actually there, you can just manage the display categories. So you can either tick your items in here if you can see it available, or if you want to, you can go into manage display categories, which is actually the same screen as we've just seen from the display categories selection here on the left hand side. So this is our food display categories. We can see all the categories that we had listed there. If you highlight one of the categories, it gives you a little choice on the right hand side to manage the items. So you can manage any items that are within that category. So here's our drinks Shake Shack, and I will manage the items in there. I'll just open a new one. And here are all the items that are currently within that drinks Shake Shack. So you can see here that my GJ soda was added, because we just did that a few minutes ago. You can come in here to add items if you wish, and you can again search to add the items with whatever you wish to search. So you can see here I've typed in GJ and that will bring up the same as the previous searches, anything with GJ within the SKU or anything within the GJ as the search item itself. You can see here that GJ soda is already added, and that I can add my shake or my burger into this particular category if I wish to. If I come out of there, we have almost an identical screen for the reporting categories. So if I pick reporting categories on the left hand side, I'll go to it that way because it is a little bit quicker to get to this point. And you can see here that we have our food KC, our test KC, and we also have the GJ that we were seeing earlier on. So I can have a look at GJ, manage any of the items that are in there, and at the moment these are the items that are in the GJ category. That's for reporting purposes. So again, any of these can be moved out. You just got a little bin on the right hand side, and you can search for any other items that you want to be added to it. So if I had another burger, have a look, see if I've got other burgers. There we are. So if I wanted to add some more burgers into my GJ reporting category, I can do that very quickly and very easily. Okay. So I'm just going to come back out to our global items. So we've covered off our orders, we've covered off our locations, our reporting categories and our display categories, and our global items. The only other place that I'd like to show you at this point is the location management. So this is for creating a new revenue center. So let's just click on that location management on the left hand side here, and we can see all of our locations here. So you can see here on the left hand side we have our location names, on the right hand side the product type, so we can order by location name or by product type if we wish, depending on how you want to look at your locations. So these are all the locations, so the revenue centers that we have currently, so we can have a look at them and go into them if we want to, but at this moment what we'll do is I'm just going to show you how to add a new location. So let's say you had a new burger hot dog stand, let's put a hot dog stand in. So you've got a new hot dog stand that you want to put in. You simply click add new location and that will take you to the additional new location screen. So location details, the name of your location, so it will be GJ Hot Dogs, let's call it that. So we can have a description underneath. So again, this will be the name of the revenue center, and the description just underneath will come as just a little subheading just underneath your main title page, and that will be visible on things like the kiosk and the web ordering. So you can have a little description in there. Great for a snack. Your product type, obviously your product type is going to be food. Your local time, so this is very important that you make sure that this is correct, because obviously you want to make sure that your location is trading in the correct time zone. So just have a quick look through the time zones and make sure that you've got the correct time zone in there and set. The business end time, so what we look at here is from a business date point of view, not an actual calendar date point of view. So if we were saying that actually your trading on Saturday is done any time during Saturday, but it will also include past midnight on a Saturday night, for instance, because you may have a concert or an event that goes on past midnight, but you still want to capture the sales from that event within the Saturday's trading. So what you would do in this case is you would normally set your business end time to something like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, depending on your location and depending on your business model. But we find that 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning works well for almost all of our customers. By then, in general, most business days have finished, so your business day will actually last from 3 o'clock in the morning through to 3 o'clock in the morning the next day, and that will capture any sales that you do in the evenings on that beyond midnight bracket. Then your initial location menus, obviously you want to put in what menus you are going to have available here. So in this case it's a hot dog stand, we're just going to do express pickup. I'm not going to do any of the other services from here, I'm just going to do express pickup. But in your case you can do any of these items that you'd like, as long as your services are working to fulfill those. Location identification, this is where you would put your payment IDs, so the merchant account ID and your merchant token. We would ask if you can just contact us to do this. The support team is very good, very quick, and we can get that done for you within normally about 5 to 10 minutes of requesting. Obviously if you have a huge amount of these it will take longer than 5 to 10 minutes. But in general, if you count on 5 to 10 minutes per revenue center to add the merchant account and merchant token, we would rather do this for you, just to make sure that the items that are in there are correct and saved correctly, so that your payments go through without a hitch. And the other area to mention within the location creation menu is the filter data. So filter data is there for our web partners, so any of our, not web partners, sorry, for our web users. So anybody using VenueNext, an online ordering solution, the customer can filter by location or by cuisine, and this is where you would set up those filters. So you would just put in the locations that you can filter on, within this revenue center, and any of the cuisines that you feel would be relevant for a customer to search for. So if they want fries specifically, or hot dogs specifically, or burgers specifically, you would add those that data in here. Okay, once you've added all that detail, you would create the location, and again within a few moments you'll get your green success bar at the top, and that will show you that you have been successful in creating your location. And at this point I am going to finish. If there's anything further, please don't hesitate to look through the support pages and have a good route through. Any searches that you want to do, click on the support link and that will take you to our support pages, and you can search through any of the support models that you have there. Thank you very much.